Conventional Weapons, My Chemical Romance's fifth album, actually more of a pseudo-album which the band scrapped in between The Black Parade and Danger Days. This record can be very polarizing at times, but it's still very important for the band and I'm excited to give my piece on it. These are all my own opinions and you're welcome to leave your own ranking in the comments. With that said, let's get into it. Enjoy. At last place is Gun. Gun seems to be one of the least liked songs of MTR's discography, and it's easy to tell why. The whole track just seems like a joke, even with the politically charged message. I actually do enjoy the message in this one, though the government's more concerned with putting young people into combat than teaching them values of love and life. The thing that really brings it down is the instrumentals. Most of the guitar melodies and drums seem super lazy and rushed, which doesn't help the awkward pacing of the vocals at times. The one part I actually do enjoy is the chorus. That's the only section where all the elements are actually cohesive and sound good. Gun just doesn't feel like MCR, and I know that's a common complaint with a lot of the songs from Conventional Weapons, but it's true. Make Room is another track that just doesn't feel like MCR. The vocals are the only thing that are actually cool. The first half of the song in general is much better than the second. The first half is very similar to Na 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 from Danger Days, which leads me to believe that Make Room was heavy inspiration for Na 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 since this came before Danger Days. Literally over a minute and a half of this track is just, everybody wants to change the world but no one wants to die, which is a fine lyric, but dang, it gets old after a while. The line is also used once in Na 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 where it's actually used really well. I don't know, I just don't see the hype around Make Room. I guess it's still one of the band's least popular songs, but I do see a lot of people gushing over it. Overall, Make Room is fine I guess, but really nothing special and it's super forgettable. Ambulance is one I've really struggled with placing. It's of course much lighter than we're used to seeing from MCR, and a lot of people really love the more melodic and happy style, but I'm not a huge fan. I don't think that style is executed very well here. I think the reason is that instead of being energetic, Ambulance feels more watered down, like a weird gray area between Surrender the Night and Gun, which really doesn't work. While I don't particularly love the sound, I do like the lyrics. The way I see it, this song is about friendship or a relationship, sort of similar to Our Lady of Sorrows in a way. Kind of. It's more like we're always going to be there for each other no matter what people try to say about it. It's a nice message, nothing incredible but nice. Where I think Ambulance struggles in comparison with the following entries are the filler sections, namely the intro, bridge, and outro. Don't get me wrong, I don't think filler sections of a song are necessarily always bad, but when they're just the same lyric the entire time it can get kind of old. I don't really like the vocals in the intro, and the repetition of "it's driving you down" gets annoying. Anyways, Ambulance is a fine song, and it's a pleasant listen, but I think it's a little overrated, and I don't think the style was executed very well. Tomorrow's Money is basically just another song from Danger Days. It's a very energetic, carefree, rebellious, all that. The song is also pretty similar to parts of Danger Days, talking about corrupt governments or groups that try to manipulate the feelings of the people to get them to fight. Most notably the final line, "You keep your money and I'll see you in hell." I love how the lyrics are so blatantly calling out whoever this perpetrator is. To add to the outlawish atmosphere, the guitars are very frenetic throughout most of the track. My favorite part would have to be the guitar solo in the bridge. It really makes the song in a way. This whole track is just everywhere and brings out the energy in a way that few bands can, and while I don't love the style, I think it was executed better than the one in Ambulance, but not as well as in Danger Days. I guess that makes sense, since Conventional Weapons was made before Danger Days, but anyways. I like how crazy this song is. The different elements like the guitars and vocals just feel very inconsistent in quality. I just wish everything fit together a bit more. Making a big jump up is Kiss the Ring. Surprisingly, a lot of people really don't like this one, and I can understand. It doesn't really sound like anything else MCR has made, and sounds almost like a weird mix between bar fight and rock country. Neither of those styles I particularly like on their own, but somehow MCR pulled it off really well. This track is carried by the guitars. I really like the opening riff. The lyrics are kind of similar to Tomorrow's Money, with themes of corrupt governments or businesses that try to force people into stuff. I think here the lyrics are more so making fun of or mocking the things these corrupt institutions are forcing on people. Of course, kissing someone's ring means they're basically surrendering themselves to that person. Honestly, don't have too much to say other than Kiss the Ring sounds very nice. It's not really anything special, just like half the songs in the album, but it does sound much better than the previous tracks in this video. The World is Ugly was actually number 3 on this list for the longest time, but over the years I've very slowly started to enjoy it less. I think that's just because the lyrics are admittedly pretty corny, and I relate to them less now than I did then. Like a year ago I would have said this song was around top 15 of MCR, but now it's not even in my top 25. Additionally, the instrumentals are a bit samey down the line, and the drums are a bit boring the whole runtime, which is understandable but still. Onto the positive though, the guitars are used great. The subtle guitar licks, I think they're licks, in the verses add a lot of personality and keep the verses from being boring. The main riff in the chorus is also pretty nice. It provides a lot of the pacing and atmosphere. The vocals are also on the better side of conventional weapons for sure, especially the harmonies, which are a bit less noticeable than the other tracks but work well. My favorite section of the song by far is the bridge. The bridge takes on a slightly darker tone and really uses the guitars to their full potential. The entire bridge is just amazing, definitely a top 5 moment of the album, which makes it difficult for me to put this at number 5 on the list. After the bridge is the final chorus, which is okay, I guess. The last chorus actually doesn't work as well as the previous two for me, which is uncharacteristic of MCR. The last part with the vocals also feels super out of place and it just doesn't sound very good. The outro is a cool addition though. It's a reference to the whispers in Vampires Will Never Hurt You, which is a fun Easter egg. The World Is Ugly is a very solid song, and at times it can hit really hard, but I regrettably have to put it at number 5. The Light Behind Your Eyes very narrowly beats out The World Is Ugly for the number 4 spot. The primary aspect that puts it above its counterpart is the progression. The Light Behind Your Eyes is on the longer side, clocking in at about 5 minutes of runtime. This track is a masterclass in emotional storytelling from Gerard, something that can only be compared to Early Sunsets and Demolition Lovers. Add to that the fact that unlike in those songs, Light utilizes vocal harmonies which contribute even more so to the progression. I would really love to break down every part of the song, but for time's sake I'll just say this. Each section introduces something new, whether that's more instrumentals or heavier vocals or both. The best example of that is the second chorus, where the sound shifts from soft and acoustic with a few guitar licks to still somber, but this time with more guitar and drums. The way the guitar just swims in and out of the chorus is incredible, and I love how all the different parts of the song mesh together. The bridge, like The World Is Ugly, is my favorite part. The transition into the last chorus, unlike The World Is Ugly, is very smooth and beautiful. The way everything fades out after the final chorus as well is just amazing. Light Behind Your Eyes should be higher on the list, however I'd had to put it at number 4 because it only reaches its full potential in very specific situations. Both of the tracks from the number 3 single are of course sad, which means they can be number 1 at their peak, but that just usually isn't the case. Just know before you get angry at me that I do really love The Light Behind Your Eyes. Boy Division is one of the most well-known tracks from Conventional Weapons, often being described as a mixture between Danger Days and Three Cheers, which is a really good description. Boy Division brings the energy from Danger Days to the heaviness and anger from Three Cheers. The guitars are great at creating that sort of darker atmosphere while also making everything sound almost happy, but not quite. The verses are very obviously about someone who's always moving through life, which I'm guessing by the references to Californian parties, it's about the band, or a band. You know, rock bands get wild sometimes and usually get themselves into some not-so-great situations, which is what the verses are saying. The chorus is more of a lamentation about how the band's own self-destructive tendencies and how they feel like there's no way to get out of them. Musically, the second half of the chorus is really fun. Ray plays that guitar melody in the background which, much like Surrender the Night, contributes largely to the energy of the section. The bridge is of course my favorite part, again. It features a breakdown, which is okay as breakdowns go, only lasts about 10 seconds, which is unfortunate, and the la 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 is a bit cringeworthy. I do really like the lead into the breakdown though. The drowned out vocals in that part are really cool. After that is the final chorus and outro, which is also very nice. The repetition of We Got the Bomb, where Gerard's screaming is drowned out by the wall of instrumentals, is a great touch. I feel like there's more to say about Boy Division, but I just can't think of what that may be. It's definitely an important song for Conventional Weapons to have. Surrender the Night was the first song I ever heard from Conventional Weapons, and it's still one of my favorites. You may have noticed that my top 2 are both from the number 5 single. I just really love the emphasis on the guitars compared to the rest of Conventional Weapons. In this track especially, the primary sound is the guitar for almost the whole time, which I love. The guitar melodies are my favorite on the record, especially in the chorus, intro, and outro. The opening riff is very addicting and has some almost 80s action movie energy to it. I think that's a lot of the appeal to Surrender the Night. Has a sort of retro feel, despite being from what most people would consider to be just another scene band from the 2010s. The vocal harmonies and backing vocals also contribute to this style. Like I mentioned before, the guitar in this track is incredible. Just amazing usage of every single note. My favorite part's gotta be the last chorus and the outro, which brings back the riff from the intro for a full circle experience. Especially at the end, the lines, "And I'll watch you sleep, in your sleep, you can fight this all you want, but tonight belongs to me," sounds awesome. The lyrics hint strongly at a car crash with mentions of anesthesia, freeways, surgeries, and the line, "Through the windshield sailing with these airbags failing." I really can't tell what the message is here. I didn't look up a meaning, but I'm pretty sure there's something really obvious that I'm missing. Overall, I just love the way Surrender the Night sounds, especially the guitars and vocals. Even the drums are some of the best on the record. Burn Bright is by far my favorite song from Conventional Weapons. It's definitely my least favorite number 1 of all my MCR videos, but it still holds a special place in my heart. The number 5 single was the first I heard from Conventional Weapons back in mid to late 2022, surprisingly before I listened to Danger Days or Bullets. Initially, I preferred Surrender the Night because it was more energetic and fun, but over time, I've come to appreciate more of the little details that give Burn Bright its personality, namely the vocal harmonies and subtle guitars in the chorus. Those vocal harmonies are just incredible. They perfectly mesh with the guitars to give everything the energy that it has. The prominence of the guitar is in stark contrast to Surrender the Night, instead opting for a more vocal-centric style which uses the guitars as more of a backup choir. I suppose that makes sense, with Burn Bright being a bit slower and more pace-based. The drums are also much more boring, which is actually a good thing in this case. I think a lot of the appeal of this track is the way that the instrumental sounds boost the vocals into center stage. The guitars basically create the entire atmosphere throughout the runtime, especially in the verses. My favorite part of the song is from the bridge to the end. Right after the second chorus, everything calms down for some light guitar and faint vocals to lead into the rest of the bridge. Much of the bridge feels like a kind of alternate chorus. Just the way that it flows feels like it could be a chorus in another song or something. I don't know. The transition from the bridge to the last chorus is amazing as well. Probably the best 10 seconds of the album. The last chorus especially is incredible. Being the last track of the album in order, all the previous songs build up to this one moment which was executed perfectly. And then the last 15 seconds of the track send off the record in amazing fashion to be the last thing the band released before the breakup. I don't hear nearly anyone talking about Burn Bright, which makes sense because it's Conventional Weapons, but I still wish this song got some more love like it deserves. I love Burn Bright. It's a very bright spot and the perfect closer for MCR pre-breakup. That was my personal ranking of My Chemical Romance's Conventional Weapons. Probably my least favorite from the band, but still a very decent album. If you're interested in seeing future music content from me for some reason, I have 2 more MCR videos coming out soon. I've already posted videos for their 4 other albums if you're interested. If you'd like to, you're welcome to leave your own ranking of the album in the comments. I put a list of bands I want to make videos on in the future in the description of this video, so if you see one of your favorites, please consider sticking around for more. Thank you so much for watching, and have a nice day, guys.